Welcome back to Wellness Blueprint series. This is our fourth deep dive.
Nice.
And today we're tackling food habits for a healthy life.
Okay.
Remember, our mission here is to help you discover practical strategies for a healthier, happier you.
Right.
And what's more fundamental to well-being than the food we eat?
Absolutely. Food is the fuel that powers our bodies and minds.
Exactly. And, in our fast-paced world, staying focused and energized can be a real challenge.
It's true.
Angelica Chapman,
Yeah.
a wellness expert whose work we're exploring today, often highlights how distractions like social media and busy schedules can make it tough to maintain that mental edge.
It's true. In her writings, Angelica emphasizes that to thrive in this environment, we need to be intentional about nourishing our brains for optimal focus.
Right. And one of the things that really caught my eye is her Brain Boost tea blend, which she created as part of her wellness line. I'm super curious to learn more about that, especially since I'm a big tea drinker myself.
Before we dive into the specifics of the tea, it might be helpful to step back and really understand why concentration is so crucial. Angelica brilliantly explains in her work how concentration underpins our ability to learn, remember information, and even solve problems effectively.
That makes total sense. When I can't focus, everything feels harder. Like trying to read a book in a noisy room. You just can't absorb anything.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that Angelica doesn't just tell us to concentrate better.
Yeah.
She offers practical techniques to actually improve our focus.
Like what, all ears?
Well, she's a big advocate for creating a dedicated workspace. Something as simple as having a designated area for work can minimize distractions and signal to your brain that it's time to focus. She also talks about the importance of prioritizing tasks.
Yeah.
Figuring out what absolutely needs to get done and tackling those first.
Those are great tips. I know I'm definitely guilty of trying to do a million things at once, and it just ends up being overwhelming.
And then there's the Pomodoro technique, which Angelica mentions in her blog. Have you heard of that one?
It rings a bell, but I could use a refresher.
It's a time management method where you work in focused bursts, typically 25 minutes, followed by a short break. This structure can help prevent mental fatigue and actually boost productivity.
Interesting. I've been trying to incorporate more breaks into my workday, but I never thought about having a structured system like that. It seems like a great way to give your brain those little moments of rest. It needs to stay sharp.
Exactly. And, when we connect this back to Angelica's emphasis on nutrition,
Okay.
it all starts to make even more sense.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this Brain Boost tea and what makes it so special.
Well, it's not just a random assortment of ingredients.
Okay.
Angelica has carefully chosen each component based on its potential cognitive benefits.
I love that it's like she's created a blend designed to specifically support our brains.
Right.
Okay, let's break it down ingredient by ingredient.
All right, let's start with lion's mane mushroom. This incredible fungus has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, and now modern research is starting to uncover its potential neuroprotective properties.
Neuroprotective, so it's like a shield for our brain cells.
In a way, studies suggest that lion's mane may help protect the brain from damage caused by stress, aging, and even certain toxins.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like giving our brains a little extra defense against the wear and tear of modern life. What else is in this magical brew?
Next up, we have cordyceps mushroom, another fascinating fungus with a long history of use in traditional Chinese medicine.
Cordyceps, that one sounds familiar. Isn't it known for its energy-boosting properties?
Cordyceps is often used by athletes to enhance performance, and stamina research suggests it might help improve oxygen utilization, which could indirectly lead to better mental clarity and focus.
So it's not just about physical energy, it's about having that mental energy to power through tasks and stay sharp.
Precisely. It's like giving your brain a breath of fresh air, so to speak.
I'm loving these natural energy boosters.
Oh.
Okay, what's next on the ingredient list?
Well, this one you're probably very familiar with, green tea.
Green tea, a classic for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I actually read that Angelica is a huge green tea fan and even wrote a whole blog post about its benefits.
She did. And one of the things she highlights is the unique combination of caffeine and L-theanine found in green tea.
Okay.
Caffeine provides that initial energy boost,
Yeah.
while L-theanine promotes a sense of calm focus, so you get the alertness without the jitters.
That's what I love about green tea.
Yeah.
It gives me that gentle nudge to wake up without making me feel wired. It's like the perfect balance for getting things done.
Right.
Okay, so we've got lion's mane cordyceps and green tea. What else is in this amazing blend?
Well, we have a few more ingredients to unpack, each with its own set of potential benefits. Shall we continue exploring?
Absolutely. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Let's keep diving into this fascinating world of brain-boosting ingredients.
Okay.
Okay, so before we dove into the fascinating world of brain-boosting mushrooms and the magic of green tea,
Yeah.
you mentioned a few more ingredients in Angelica's Brain Boost Tea Blend.
Right.
I'm ready to hear all about them.
Great. Let's talk about cinnamon. It's not just for holiday baking, you know? Some studies suggest that cinnamon might have a positive impact on cognitive function, possibly by helping to regulate blood sugar levels.
Yeah, interesting. I know blood sugar spikes and crashes can definitely affect my focus and energy.
Yeah.
So keeping those levels stable could be key for staying sharp.
Exactly. And then there's a touch of chili flake in the blend.
Chili flake, now that's an unexpected ingredient for a tea.
It might seem surprising, but there's a method to the madness. The compound that gives chili peppers their heat capsaicin is thought to increase blood flow, and increased blood flow to the brain could potentially lead to enhanced alertness.
So it's like a little wake-up call for the brain, but in a delicious, warming way.
Exactly, a subtle kick to help you stay focused. Now, licorice root is another interesting addition to the blend.
Licorice root, I usually associate that with candy, not brain-boosting beverages.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But licorice root has a long history of use in traditional medicine, and modern research is starting to explore its potential benefits for stress management and overall well-being.
Stress is definitely a focus killer. So anything that helps manage those levels is a win in my book.
Absolutely. And speaking of stress management, we can't forget about ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha, that's an herb I've been hearing a lot about lately. Isn't it considered an adaptogen?
Yes, adaptogens are essentially natural substances that help our bodies cope with stress more effectively. And ashwagandha in particular has been studied for its potential to reduce anxiety and improve cognitive function.
So it's like having a built-in buffer against those everyday stressors that can throw us off track.
Precisely. And finally, to round out the blend, we have cacao shell.
Cacao shells are where chocolate comes from.
You got it. The cacao shell is the outer layer of the cacao bean, and while it doesn't have the same intense chocolate flavor as the bean itself, it still adds a subtle richness and depth to the tea.
So we're getting a hint of chocolate with all those other brain-boosting benefits. That sounds like a winning combination.
It's a delicious way to nourish your mind and body. And, it's fascinating how Angelica brings together this blend of ancient wisdom and modern science in her approach to wellness.
Yeah, it's really cool to see how she's weaving together traditional knowledge with the latest research. It makes her recommendations feel even more credible and well-rounded. But I'm curious, you've mentioned Angelica's emphasis on the gut-brain connection before. How does that fit into all of this?
That's a great question, and it's something Angelica talks about quite a bit in her work. She believes that a healthy gut is essential for a healthy mind. Our gut is home to trillions of bacteria that play a crucial role in everything from digestion to immune function to, yes, you guessed it, brain health.
Trillions of bacteria.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a whole ecosystem living inside of us.
It really is. And when that ecosystem is balanced and thriving, it can have a profound impact on our mood focus and overall cognitive function.
So if our gut is out of whack, it can actually mess with our ability to concentrate and feel good.
Exactly. An imbalance in gut bacteria can lead to inflammation and disrupt the production of neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers that are crucial for brain health.
Makes sense. If those messengers aren't working properly, our brains can't function at their best. So how does Angelica suggest we support our gut health?
Well, in her blog post about her personal wellness routine, she talks about the importance of regular bowel movements and prioritizing foods that promote gut health. She even had a conversation with another wellness expert, Martine Lewis, where they both talked about their personal detox routines and how they incorporate those practices into their lives.
That's interesting. So it's not just about what we eat and drink, but also about making sure things are moving smoothly, so to speak. It's like creating a clear pathway for communication between our gut and our brain.
Precisely. And just like creating a dedicated workspace can minimize distractions for your physical environment, nourishing your gut with healthy choices can create a more optimal environment for your internal ecosystem to thrive.
You know what I'm really appreciating about Angelica's approach is that it's not about restrictive diets or extreme measures, but rather about incorporating simple, sustainable habits into our daily lives.
Yes, that's what makes her work so appealing. She focuses on progress over perfection, and she constantly reminds us that small changes can add up to big results over time.
And honestly, that's so encouraging. It takes the pressure off and makes me feel like I can actually implement these tips without overhauling my entire life. Speaking of simple habits, I'm curious to hear more about your thoughts on the power of rituals.
Well, Angelica often talks about how incorporating rituals into our daily routines can create a sense of intention and mindfulness. It's about being present in the moment and savoring the experience.
It makes me think about how something as simple as enjoying a cup of tea can be a powerful ritual for self-care and concentration. It's a moment to pause, breathe, and reset. before diving back into whatever you're working on.
Absolutely. And with her Brain Boost tea, you're not only getting that ritualistic experience, but you're also nourishing your body with a blend of ingredients that might help support your cognitive function.
I love that it's like a double dose of goodness for the mind and body.
Right.
After learning about all these incredible ingredients and Angelica's holistic approach to wellness, I'm feeling really inspired to incorporate some of these tips and tricks into my own life.
That's wonderful to hear. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time. It's about finding what works for you and building those healthy habits into your daily routine.
I couldn't agree more. This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of food habits for a healthy life. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for supporting my mental clarity and energy levels.
That's great to hear. And, we've covered a lot of ground today, from specific ingredients to broader lifestyle choices, but there's always more to explore.
Right, and I think that's the beauty of this journey. It's an ongoing process of discovery and experimentation.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to hear what stands out to you the most from everything we've discussed.
It's a great question. I think what's resonating with me the most is the idea that we have more control over our health and well-being than we often realize.
Yes, that's a powerful takeaway.
It's empowering to know that by making mindful choices about what we eat, drink, and how we structure our days, we can truly make a difference in how we feel and function.
Absolutely. And Angelica Chapman's work beautifully illustrates this point. She doesn't just talk about abstract concepts. She provides actionable steps and real-world examples that anyone can apply to their own lives.
Right, like creating a dedicated workspace, incorporating the Pomodoro technique, prioritizing tasks. Those are things we can all start doing today.
Exactly. And let's not forget the power of incorporating rituals like enjoying a cup of Brain Boost tea. It's a simple act that can signal to your brain it's time to focus and nourish your body with potentially beneficial ingredients.
It's almost like a mini meditation, a moment to pause, breathe, and set an intention for clarity and productivity.
And speaking of intention, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. What one small change can you commit to today to nourish your brain and boost your mental clarity?
That's a great question. It could be as simple as swapping sugary drinks for water, taking a short walk during your lunch break, or trying out Angelica's Brain Boost tea.
The key is to start small, be consistent, and celebrate your progress along the way.
Remember, lasting change takes time and effort, so be patient with yourself and embrace the journey.
And don't forget to have fun with it. Exploring new healthy habits should be an enjoyable experience, not a chore.
If you're looking for a delicious starting point, I highly recommend checking out Angelica Wellness Shop's Brain Boost Tea Brew. It's a wonderful blend of natural ingredients that might help support your cognitive function and give you a gentle energy boost.
It's a great way to incorporate the wisdom of nature into your daily routine.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to make some positive changes in your life.
Remember, you have the power to create a healthier, happier you, one mindful choice at a time.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll be back next time with another exciting exploration of wellness and self-discovery. Until then, stay curious, stay well, and keep diving deep. It's amazing how much we've unpacked about the connection between food and focus, all thanks to Angelica Chapman's insights.
It really highlights how these, seemingly small choices like what we eat or how we structure our day can have a ripple effect on our overall well-being.
Absolutely. One thing that keeps coming back to me is the importance of being intentional. Angelica really emphasizes that in her work.
Yes, it's not just about grabbing whatever's convenient or giving in to every craving. It's about pausing and asking ourselves what will truly nourish my body and mind.
I love that it's about making choices that align with our goals for a healthier, happier life.
And speaking of intention, I think one of the most valuable takeaways from Angelica's work is the concept of rituals.
Right, we talked about that a bit earlier, but I'd love to hear more about why rituals are so powerful.
Well, in our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, constantly reacting to things, rather than proactively creating the life we want.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. It's like being on autopilot all the time.
Exactly. But rituals offer a way to break free from that cycle. They provide a sense of grounding, intention, and mindfulness.
It's like hitting the pause button and creating a sacred space for yourself, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Precisely. And what's beautiful is that rituals can be as simple or elaborate as you say. It could be something as quick as taking a few deep breaths before starting your workday, or as involved as preparing a nourishing meal with intention.
I'm a big fan of morning rituals myself. Just having a quiet moment to enjoy my coffee and set my intentions for the day Makes a world of difference.
And, enjoying a cup of Angelica's Brain Boost tea could be a wonderful ritual to incorporate into your day.
It's funny you should mention that because I was just thinking about how all those amazing ingredients we discussed could be a perfect way to start the day on a focused, energized note.
It's a delicious way to nourish your mind and body while also creating a moment of pause and intention.
And speaking of starting the day, right? Angelica shared a really interesting tip in her 10 steps for a healthier lifestyle blog post.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm always looking for practical tips.
She recommends making your bed first thing in the morning.
That seems so simple, but I can see how it would set a positive tone for the day.
Right. It's a small act of accomplishment that creates a sense of order and sets you up for a more productive, focused mindset.
It's like a subtle reminder that you're in control of your environment and your choices.
And speaking of choices, I think it's important to acknowledge that making sustainable changes to our food habits takes time and effort.
Absolutely. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress.
Exactly. Angelica emphasizes that in her work as well. She encourages us to be patient with ourselves and celebrate the small wins along the way.
And to remember that every healthy choice we make is a step in the right direction.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into food habits for a healthy life, I want to leave our listeners with a sense of empowerment.
Yes, we have more control over our well-being than we often realize.
By making mindful choices about what we eat, how we move, and how we structure our days, we can truly unlock greater focus, energy, and happiness.
And remember, it's not about overhauling your entire life overnight. Start with one small change, be consistent, and enjoy the journey.
If you're looking for a delicious and potentially brain-boosting way to start your day, we highly recommend checking out Angelica Wellness Shop's Brain Boost Tea Brew.
It's a wonderful blend of natural ingredients that might just give you that extra edge you're looking for.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into food habits for a healthier life.
And remember,
We hope you gain some valuable insights and practical tips to nourish your body and mind.
you have the power to create a healthier, happier you, one mindful choice at a time.
Until next time, stay curious, stay well, and keep diving deep.